Hello, this is Kate from dailytarotgirl.com, and today I wanted to do a video for you where I share some of the tarot cards in my tarot collection. So I've already done one video on the tarot decks that I use most frequently, and I'm going to put the link to that video in the description of this one. And I also did a video on all my oracle decks that I use as well. So these tarot cards are ones that I don't actually use that much. And I'm going to start with the Tarot of a Moon Garden. And this deck is really neat. The artwork is really cool. And it has more of a, almost like an innocent, kind of childlike vibe to it. It's a very positive deck. None of the cards are scary. It would actually be good for like a younger person or even a child, because there aren't really any scary cards at all in it. It has a very magical kind of look to it. And I was originally attracted to this deck just because I really like the style of artwork, but I actually find I don't use this deck. I find it a harder one to read with. I'm not sure exactly why, but I find it hard to read with. So that's Tarot of a Moon Garden. And this next deck is the Fairytale Tarot. And each card is based on a fairy tale. And I really like this deck. A lot of the fairy tales I'm not totally familiar with, and so I'm not sure if that's why I never used this deck much, but I never really connected with this deck, even though I love the images on the cards. And this was a harder deck for me to get. I actually kind of went out of my way to find this deck, and I think I paid a little bit more than I normally do for tarot cards with this one. So I don't even know if this deck is still in print, but it's a really unique deck, and the artwork is lovely, and it really does have a unique look and feel to it. You can really get lost in these cards as well. And each card, of course, has a story, because each card is based on a fairy tale. So this deck is the Paulina Tarot. And the Paulina Tarot is done by the artist Paulina Cassidy. And her style of art is very whimsical, very, very detailed. It's so rich in detail and symbolism, but it's also very busy. And I felt that these cards are just like the normal sized, regular sized tarot cards, but I feel like these pictures really get lost in this size. Like, I feel like they need to be way bigger. I feel like I'm missing stuff, and I'm always squinting trying to look at the detail. So I actually found reading with this deck kind of stressed me out because there was so much to look at, and I actually prefer kind of really clean, simple, basic images on my tarot cards, and these are really detailed. But on the plus side, you can get lost in these cards just looking at all the detail and stuff. So if you want to spend a long time doing a reading for yourself, this is a pretty cool deck. I really like the images in here, but I never got into this deck. And she actually has an oracle deck, which I really like, and I might end up getting her oracle deck. Okay, this one's the Fenestra Tarot. And this tarot deck is very closely based on the traditional symbolism of the Rider-Waite Tarot. So this is a good deck for beginners because it's, you know, it doesn't stray too far outside the traditional images. And this deck has a really feminine feel to me. Like, a lot of the cards are kind of pinkish, but I like how the art is very simple and very clear. It has kind of a modern feel to it too. I used this deck a lot when I first bought it. But then over the years I got other decks, and I just kind of lost interest in this deck. And the cards are very glossy and a bit slippery. Okay, this deck is called the Secret Tarot, and this was actually the first tarot deck I ever bought. I bought it along with a miniature version of the Thoth Tarot and the Rider-Waite Tarot. So I actually learned to read tarot with these cards. And I mean, the artwork is kind of cool and stuff, but I just found that every card was so somber and serious, and even like the really positive cards have kind of a depressing vibe. It's just a weird deck. A lot of people like this deck, but I find it very cold, and I just can't get into it. Right, so that's the Secret Tarot. And this is the New Orleans Voodoo Tarot. And this is a very unique deck. It is, I'm gonna say it's based on the tarot structure, but it's not at all associated really with the Rider-Waite Tarot. The images and the symbolism and everything are very different, so you really have to learn this deck on your own. It comes with a really good guidebook, but it's definitely a deck that you kind of have to learn. I bought this deck because I liked the artwork, and I never ever use it. Even when I just do a reading with myself and then look up the meanings in the book, I find it just isn't, it's not accurate for me, and I think it's just because I never really connected with this deck. And some of the pictures are a bit creepy. Yeah, but it's a very original deck for sure. And that's the New Orleans Voodoo Tarot. And this tarot deck is totally bizarre. This is called the Circle of Life Tarot, and the cards are circular. And this deck, again, is so different. Like, it's not... If you're familiar with the Rider-Waite Tarot, that doesn't help you with this deck. This deck is like a deck, you know, on its own. And none of the cards really made sense to me. Like, it's really, again, cool artwork, and that's why I bought it, because I was really drawn to the artwork. But I couldn't, you know, make sense of any of these cards. They just seemed really messed up. And so that's why I never use it. This one's pretty cool. This one is the World, and that's it. Oh no, this is Judgment. And that's another reason I didn't like it, is it's really hard. It's got the name of the card in all different languages around the outside, and it's sometimes hard to figure out which card is which. So really kind of messed up pictures, but it's pretty cool. I mean, tarot is such a personal thing that some decks people love and other people don't like them. So this one is the Cosmic Tarot. And I actually trimmed this deck, so it originally did have a white border and the cards were kind of more rectangular, they didn't have the rounded edges. So I have trimmed this deck, and I really like the way it turned out once I trimmed it. This is quite a unique deck, and again, it's based on the Rider-Waite images, but the artist has made a few departures here and there, so it's kind of neat. It's definitely unique in that way, and I love the artwork. Some of the images were just really creepy for me, and I think that's why I stopped using it. It's a very deep deck, if that makes sense. Okay, so that's the Cosmic Tarot. Okay, and this is the Tarot of a Dream Enchantress. And this has a lot of dragons and fairies and stuff like that in it. It's a very kind of mystical fantasy type deck. And I quite like this tarot deck. I do use this one from time to time. I feel like I just have so many decks that it's hard to use all of them equally, so this one I often forget that I have it, but I really enjoyed this deck when I first got it, and I used it quite a bit, and I think I'm going to start using it again. There's no writing on these cards, which is actually pretty cool. I think the major arcana, no, they don't have any writing either. So the major arcana cards, like this one's the Hangman, there's Roman numerals, which I don't even know any Roman numerals, so I just go based on the images. But like 5 of Swords will have the number and then the symbol of the sword up there. And here's a court card, and this is Page or Princess of Cups. So that's kind of nice because a lot of people find the writing can sometimes be a distraction. So that's nice about that deck. Now this one is the Tarot of Mermaids. And I love this deck because I love mermaids. But I find I buy themed decks because I think they're really cool, and I love seeing how the artist works the theme into the tarot. But I find that I don't actually really like using themed decks. I like looking at them, but for the most part I don't really use themed decks that much. And Los Scarabeo, they do this thing where they put the name of the card in like 4 different languages on the bottom, and then they have it in English at the top, and some people don't like that because it takes up a lot of space and it can be distracting. But the thing I like about this deck is each card has such a distinct vibe or mood. Each suit, I mean, has a distinct vibe. So it's a pretty neat deck. If you like mermaids, you'll love this deck. And now this one, I can't exactly remember what this one is called. It's either called the Enchanted Tarot or the Enchanted World Tarot. I can't quite remember. On the bag that I have, it says the Enchanted World of Amy Zerner and Monte Farber. And this is a mini deck, so it's a little bit smaller than most tarot decks. And the thing I love about this one is there's no annoying white borders, so you don't have to trim it. It's been done for you, so there's no borders on the cards. And I used this deck a lot when I first got it, and then over the years I just found other favorite decks, and so this one didn't get as much use anymore. I think I found the cards quite busy, and some people love busy cards. Like the Paulina Tarot I know has a big following. A lot of people love the Paulina Tarot, and I think a lot of people like this tarot too. The images are quite nice, and the artwork is I can't think of the exact name, some kind of collage, like fabric collage. It's quite unique looking. So that's the Enchanted Tarot. Okay, and here we have Tarot of the Pagan Cats. And I love this deck. It's so funny. It's got cats in every card. But like I said, I don't really use themed decks very often. If you like cats, though, I think you'll probably like this deck. This deck always cracks me up. And this one is a new deck that I just got, and this one is called Tarot of the Cat People. And I actually haven't even worked with it yet, so I can't tell you how good it is. And there's cats and people in every single one. And I was a bit miffed when I ordered this because I ordered the deck and book set because all the reviews said, oh, you have to get the book or else the cards aren't really going to make sense, and the book like really enhances your experience of reading with these cards. And then when it came in the mail, it was just the card deck, and they sent me the wrong thing, and then they said they didn't have any more of the deck and book set available, so I would have to buy the book separately and they wouldn't send it to me. And so I felt kind of bitter about it, and I think that's why I haven't used this deck. But I love the style of artwork that is used in this deck. I think it's really cool. Yeah, so that's Tarot of the Cat People. And then here is the Arthurian Legends Tarot. And I used this deck tons when I first got it. This was another deck that I was learning on. It was one of my earlier decks, and I never ever use it now. Okay, and then this tarot is Tarot of the Old Path, and I really was attracted to the this tarot online when I looked at pictures of it, and then when I got it, I really hated how the people in it looked. I just thought they looked really messed up, and they didn't do it for me. I also don't like how a lot of the cards have this like white background. I don't know why, that just really doesn't do it. I do like some of the cards in this deck, but most of them, especially the court cards, I just couldn't get into. And this last deck here is the Gilded Tarot. And a lot of people love the Gilded Tarot, and I just found the artwork to be a bit too computer generated or something. And I never really bonded with this deck. And I tried to like it, and I just couldn't get into it. But this is a really popular deck, so a lot of people do like it. And I think the backs of these cards are beautiful, like so pretty. And while there is borders around these cards, they're not white borders, so I don't find them distracting. And this is a nice one. Yeah, and so that's my tarot collection. If you want to see more in-depth reviews, you can visit my website, which is dailytarotgirl.com. Thank you for watching.